Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of a podcast that's talking about video games. It's about time someone's doing it. We've been doing it for 22 episodes now. This is episode 22. Today's date is June 8th at like 3:46 p.m. Eastern. I want to say hello to those who have joined us live today. You guys are awesome. Great to see you all there. I see you all chatting away. And I also want to say hello to you who's listening on this as early as May 10th. As early as May 10th.
They went through time to listen to it?
Mm-hmm.
It's June. So how do they listen to it May 10th?
Okay, my notes I have today, June 8th, but it releases on May 10th. What the heck? Apparently I didn't transpose that. June 10th. Okay, you're listening as early as June 10th is what you're listening to. This.
Starting off strong.
For those who are, yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's get me off of talking here. Who do we have here today? I'm joined here today by Ashley. Hello, Ashley.
Hello, Pancho Taco. Did you want to tell the people the name of the podcast?
This podcast is Arcade Parlor.
Arcade Parlor.
You guys want to try saying it together?
Yeah.
Some podcasts do that, and it sometimes it works. You know, actually, I was going through and I was editing like our last episode, and I actually for once listened to when we all say Arcade Parlor. We actually do pretty good.
Wow.
When we record it here, it's horrible, but actually it turns out pretty okay on the thing. So, hey, we're doing good. We're doing good, guys. But let's do it anyway. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Arcade Parlor. Okay. I don't. This one might not do it this time.
This is going to be a special episode.
You guys weren't ready. You guys weren't ready.
A couple of us are in rare form today, let me tell you.
Ashley, great. Like I said, let's get me off the mic here. I don't know what I'm doing. Ashley, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Happy to be here today. I decided to do something before episode that listen, this isn't a bash Pancho Taco session, but the Pancho Taco never does. Which is I finally looked up when Pop's 1 year episode of being co-host on the podcast is. You'll need a time machine to get there because it was in April.
It was a great day. It was a good episode.
That was my favorite. That that was a good episode two times ago, right? I don't even remember what that episode was right now.
I just remember. I remember it was called "This is a Dry Noodle Podcast." That was the infamous Pancho Taco teaching us how to make mac and cheese in his very special way, where he adds, he adds milk and butter. Isn't that insane? It's not that the box tells you to, but when he makes it for him, listen, poor Pancho, when he makes it for himself, if you weren't there that episode. He just puts the powder with the watery macaroni. And life's too short, man. You can't. Just the powder.
My favorite part of all of that is Ashley, you and Bleachy just listening and smiling, letting him pat himself on the back for following the basic instructions on the boss. That is what friends are for. When you're like, you know what I did? I did the thing the directions told me to do, and it turned out really good. So I don't know if you guys knew this. This butter and milk really adds to the flavor. And you're like, oh, that's such a good idea. You were so sweet. And I'm mowing the grass listening to this, and I was like, what is he talking about? These are the fundamentals of I'm like, I have to get back on. And yell at him for this. Because it is ridiculous to like sit there and pat yourself on the back for something that you're supposed to do. And then I was so excited when you guys brought me back on just to call them out. Listen,
I do the bare minimum when it comes to food. Like when I think I've said this before. When I go to a restaurant, I'm not buttering my own bread. I don't have time for that. I'm just going to eat the bread. Maybe, but the most I'll do is on like if I'm in an Italian restaurant, I'll put some of like the
Olive oil.
what is it? The oil on in the plate with some Parmesan on it or whatever, right?
Ooh.
But I don't have time to butter my own bread. I mean, half the time when you go to a restaurant, they give you hard butter. Who wants to try spreading hard butter on your on your bread? Now the one restaurant that I will butter my bread
I already know.
is Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse, baby.
You have to.
You gotta.
That cinnamon butter. I think it's cinnamon butter, right? Isn't that what it is?
God, we're
So
a good video game podcast.
The best.
That stuff is so good.
It really is. You know what? I don't like eating out at restaurants too much because one, I'm very poor and I'm very cheap. And two, like, okay, I just gave you $50 and I got one meal. Like, I could spend that $50 and buy the ingredients. And my wife is a good cook. I'm a decent cook. And we could make something similar, if not better. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but Texas Roadhouse, you give them like $15 and they give you a burger like the size of my head. Like, I remember them putting it down. I'm like, okay, finally a restaurant that gets me. And like the bread, they give you a ton of the portion size. That's what I want at a restaurant. It doesn't necessarily need to be great food. I just want good portion sizes and I'm happy. And Texas Roadhouse, when I went, delivered. I love that place.
I just love the peanut shells on the floor. First time I went there, I was like, there's shells on the floor? I love this place.
That's Logan's, I think.
No,
Or
Texas
does
Roadhouse.
Texas do that too?
Yeah, they do.
Do they all do that?
Mine, the ones I go to do. Oh, yeah. Loaded with the shells.
Maybe. For some reason, I'm thinking of a different one.
I think
maybe they all do. I mean, maybe
do
a few of them
think
do
that
it.
certain ones don't do it for some reason, but the Florida ones and the ones I went to in when I lived in Rhode Island, they all were peanuts on the floor.
I gotta say though, when I go to a restaurant, I don't know if I want to I don't really enjoy the sight of just like peanut shells all over the floor.
I love it.
I don't know about and as I'm not that I'm an old person by any means, but as I've gotten older, all I want to do when I go to a restaurant, I don't want gimmicks like go make your own bowl. Take it out. Have you guys ever been to like BD's Mongolian barbecue? I love that place, but I'm kind of totally over the whole build your own, go stand at the grill for 7 minutes while they make it. I kind of just want to go. I don't want to do. I'm paying for you guys to do everything for me, right? I'm going to give you a nice tip because you're a great waiter, great waitress, whatever. And I don't know. The older I get, and again, I'm not that old. I'm 31, but like I just enjoy just going and having them do everything. Like I hear of restaurants that like, you sit down, you have your own little grill in front of you, kind of like, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I want that. I mean, fundamentally, I can't, the philosophical existence of this restaurant, it doesn't make sense. Then you still got to do like a 20% tip on top of it for the person who just brought you water. And it's like,
I have like of the opposite
I don't know.
mentality.
I'd rather just go a full service. Just give me full service. If
I wanted a clean floor, I would eat at home. Like, give me the peanut shells. Give me the gimmicks. I want the onion volcano. I want the dude cooking it in front of me while I'm just standing there. I love it. Give me the spectacle, baby. I left my house for something.
I love those vibes because I'm with you. Like the peanuts on the floor tells me like this is not too serious. I get really at fancy restaurants. I get nervous. I'm going to let my waiter down. Like, am I going to order something they're not proud of? Like when they're like, do you want Parmesan cheese? And they start doing it for me. I'm like, you stop when you think it's right. Like I'm terrified. Like if I do too soon, I do not do well being served. I don't like that. And with the peanuts on the floor tells me like, hey, we're going to serve you, but it's super low key, chill.
Yeah.
Like you're going to enjoy yourself. When it gets like, I do not like being pampered. I feel weird and awkward about it, even though I'm paying for it and you're going to pay for, well, my wife's paying for it. And you got a tip and stuff like that. Like I feel awkward and I do not enjoy the fancy experience, but I do enjoy the like somewhere there's a balance, and the peanuts on the floor tells me they know the balance I'm looking for. And so I do like that. But I have one of my best friends, we got into an argument about this. He's like, let me take you to this really fancy steakhouse. You're going to love it. It tastes like butter. I'm like, I'm sure the food's going to taste great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to enjoy it the whole time. And even if like, let's say, me and you went punch and you paid for the bill, I will sit there and look at the menu and find the cheapest thing I can buy. Because I just can't mentally accept the fact that this steak costs $100. I can't do it. and I will never enjoy that steak because no matter if it's the greatest things I've ever eaten, man, that $100 I could have bought 2 video games, a controller. Like I'll always put these like other things in my head what I could have spent that money on. I'm not a fancy restaurant guy. I don't think I ever will be.
The one like gimmick, I guess it's gimmick, whatever. That I do enjoy, however, is like a Brazilian steakhouse.
Oh, with the
we
card
usually
you
go to one
turn?
like maybe,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
once a year, maybe twice a year we go. Pops, you look like have you never heard of Brazilian steakhouse?
Is that
You're not
like
familiar with the
unlimited,
concept?
all you can eat?
With
Like,
all the
it's
meat.
it's where you sit at your table and they give you like these medallions, kind of. One side is green, one side is red. And as long as you flip it to green, waiters will just stop by with like huge skewers of meat, and they'll just be like, "Hey, do you want this?" And you say yes or no. And then they keep going by. It'll be like they'll come by with like Parmesan chicken. Do you want this? No, I don't want that. How about? And then a few minutes later,
steak.
someone will come by with like fresh filet, mignon or whatever. And you can just say, yes, you do want that. And they'll just cut off a piece and put it on you. And it's just unlimited meat, basically, that they keep bringing. And then when you after a while, when you're like, I'm full, you just flip your medallion over, and then they just know not to stop at your table anymore.
that is heaven.
So
Someone figured
it's
out
awesome.
heaven. Okay, yes.
It's awesome.
My wife, if you're listening to this, birthday's coming up. Brazilian steakhouse. I need this in my life. Green, more
man.
please. Red, slow it down. I'm still eating.
It's really fun.
What are the rules?
It is incredible.
Like, do they give you like a ton of the cheap stuff? So you're sitting there like, I can't finish this, but I'm still hungry. Like, what are the rules? Are like, okay, this was good, not my favorite. Can you push it to the side and get another person to come? Okay.
Oh yeah. If you bring something and you're like, I don't really maybe it's not cooked the way you want. Maybe it's a little drier than you want. Just push to the side. They'll come pick up your plate or whatever, and you just keep your medallion, and then somebody else will stop by, and you can make special requests. Be like, hey, I this came by a little while ago, or I see that walking around. Can I get some of that? And they'll bring it out to you.
Very fancy.
Sometimes fresh, or if the person's over there, they'll go grab them or something. But they'll put in your request of meat to get cooked and brought out sooner than later if you put in the request.
Make sure the next day you don't really have much going on, because you're gonna have the meat sweats a little bit. It's a lot of meat, but it's fun.
That sounds like my heaven. I'm all for that. I do like one gimmick I don't like is when they do the show in front of you. I'm so nervous for the dude flipping the eggs and like the shrimp.
Oh, I love it.
And then into people's mouths. Like, what if he misses? Like, hopefully he does it towards me, because if he misses, I don't care. And like, I know it happens all the time, but like, I have anxiety for that person. And like, I know they don't care, and most people there don't care. But I'm super nervous. I don't know why. Like, what if he messes up? Last time I went to that, I sat next to a guy, and all we did, it was me and my wife, this dude and his date. And the whole time, me and the dude talked about everything Mighty Ducks 1 and 2. And we left, and my wife was like, what are you doing? Like, that was our date, and you spent the whole time talking. And I'm like, you know what? I learned a valuable lesson. If you go on a date with your wife, talk to your wife.
Wow.
What? So okay, so a restaurant. What is like one of your what's like one of your most memorable experience at a restaurant? Maybe it was like something super weird that happened, or just like, hey, this was cool. I don't know. Do you guys have like I can share something. It's not super weird, but like when was this? This would have been like maybe 5 years ago or something. My wife and I we went to a place like that, a hibachi restaurant. I think it was for our anniversary. It was like a Thursday night, so they weren't busy at all, which was awesome.
Ooh.
But the problem is that that means there's only one other person in the restaurant, and because it's hibachi, they sit you at the same grill, right? Which is kind of awkward if it's one other person. Anyway, he was an older gentleman, sitting a few chairs over, and he made a little bit of small talk. He was like, he's staying in the hotel right next door for business. He apparently owned his own company or something like that. And he was doing some travel. Well, when you go to hibachi, it's an expensive dinner, right? You're going to be spending probably like, minimum $120 maybe for like for like all the courses and stuff like that. Well, when the bill came, no bill ever came to us. No bill. And I was just, I was like, did you? I leaned over to the guy and I was like, did you? Nothing, because we were just sitting there. Nothing was coming. This guy, he was like, He knew he had asked us what we were doing. We were like, we're on our anniversary. It's like our, I don't know, our sixth anniversary or something. He paid for everything, including
Aw, that's
so we went and
sweet.
ate completely free. Oh man, it was awesome. That guy was really nice, really
That
sweet
is
dude.
so nice. Wow, that's very sweet. Aw.
I would have loved
And then
that.
my other story, I already told it last time about the people who were like farting in the buffet. So we have both ends of the spectrum here.
Great. I'm so glad we brought that up again. What a great intro this has been.
I think the only restaurant story I can think of, and we bring it up now and again, is we went to, the wife and I went to a place. We had like someone got us like a gift certificate, which is a great gift. Give someone a like restaurant gift certificate because it gets the people out of the house. But it's also, if you're thinking about a gift, man, a gift card to a restaurant would be great.
Yeah.
But we went out and I got like the colossal burger. And because you'll buy stuff you normally wouldn't buy knowing that it's free. So like it puts me out of my, like I got like the fanciest burger I could find. And the wife got like the Admiral's Feast, the most expensive seafood thing on the menu. And this is like a suburb of Pittsburgh. So we were super excited. And I'll never forget, they put the most giant, beautiful plate of burger in front of me, fries piled high.
Ooh.
Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is incredible. And then they put my wife's plate down. And it was without a doubt the saddest and ugliest plate of food I have ever seen. Like, worse than school lunch. Like 3 pieces of the ugliest broccoli you've ever seen. A fish covered in brown sauce. Like the most unappetizing color of sauce in the world. And maybe the most wrinkly, sad piece of asparagus. And so on one hand, you have this burger is singing the Star Spangled Banner. When you see it, you could hear the national anthem. Like, it is all things America on this plate. This plate of fries, the overwhelming portion size, it is majestic. And you look over and you could just see her face. Like, and hers was more expensive than mine. It was the saddest plate of food. And somewhere out there, this picture still exists on one of her like 90 cell phones that we've gone through since then. But we'll never forget that till the day we die. Like, it tasted okay, she said, but it was just
hideous
for how much. Like, this is the big seafood thing, and it was, oh man, it looked worse than school lunch, and we were just laughing. Though, I mean, I was laughing. I don't remember if she was laughing, but I just remember trying to pick up my burger as she looks at it. It was bad. It was bad.
I have a quick story, but it's actually from the other end. My first shift as a waitress. I used to have a side job. I was a waitress at a sushi restaurant, and I had a good friend. And she was like, "Hey, like, I know you were talking about getting a second job. We have a really big need in my restaurant for a waitress. Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "I've never done it before, but why not?" So me thinking I'm gonna work with her, I'm so excited. Well, she's like, "Hey, actually, your first shift, you're gonna go to our other location. They know you're coming, and we have a girl there to train you, and it'll be awesome." I was like, "Wonderful." So I get there. The girl who was supposed to train me didn't show up. So it was me and a bunch of chefs that spoke Japanese, and I had never been a waitress in my life. And I was like, I didn't know the menu. Half the menu was in Japanese. I knew nothing of what I was doing. And the chef was so nice. Actually, I'm not even lying to you. I swear to you, the chef's name, Yoshi. Not lying.
Chef Yoshi.
Swear to God.
That's incredible.
Swear on everything. Chef Yoshi was so sweet to me. He was just like, "Are you going to stay?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm going to stay." He's like, "Okay, I'll help you." And so every table, so I remember at one point, it was a Wednesday night. I'll never forget this. It was a small restaurant. There was like 16 tables, I think, in the restaurant. 15 of them were occupied at the same time. He's like, "Don't worry. Wednesdays are so slow. We'll have like 3 people in here." It was their busiest Wednesday they ever had. So every table that came in, I was like, "Hello, my name is Ashley. It's so nice to meet you." I was like, "First of all, I'm the new waitress here. It's also my first shift ever as a waitress in my whole life. And also, the girl who was supposed to train me, she's not here right now. So You and I are going to get through this night, and it is going to be so fun. We're going to have lots of laughs, and it's going to be wonderful. How's that sound? And every table, like just how I tried to present it in like a funny way, everyone was super cool. I made a ton of tip money that night. The chef was like, "Oh yeah, well those." I was like, "Oh no, I made no. Don't you try to scam me on my tips. Oh no." But I made good money, and I ended up like working there as a side job for like a year. So
That's awesome.
Well, to say you probably hopefully got at least like some sympathy tips, for people.
I
to be
did.
Like, she's clearly stressed out.
I was very
first
sweet.
night, and it's insane here, and there's nobody to train. So
I didn't know where
hopefully that
anything
also
was.
made
Like,
people more generous too.
I had never held one of the serving things before. I was so scared I was gonna spill things on people. But it ended up, the Yoshi rang everything up, and I did what I was supposed to do, and we got through it.
Not a lot of friendly chefs out there. They're there.
Sweetheart,
but the one experience
he
I
was.
had, you have to be a jerk to be a chef. I think and I'm not because that's one of the hardest jobs of all time.
So
being
head
a
chef,
jerk,
yeah.
That's part of the requirements because you're so stressed out, you work so hard, you are allowed to be a jerk. So the fact that you got one that was nice is incredible. And maybe they just had to be nice or else they don't have a business at that point. But you stayed for a year, so.
The rest of the staff was teaching me all the bad words in all of their native tongues, like Japanese and Vietnamese, the rest of the time that I worked there. So that was fun. But they made me lots of really good food for free. And
the best part about working in a restaurant is the free food.
Good.
So
and it was sushi. It was like grade A sushi that I was eating for free every single day. It was amazing.
So jealous. One more quick restaurant story from me.
Yeah.
It was a recent one. The wife and I went out to a place, and our waiter is like a super low-key taco place. It's our favorite. They do great work. He's like a 16-year-old kid, like skin and bones, comes to our table. I'm like, that's perfect. That's what I want, because I don't want anyone that's going to be like super intense. Just give us our food. He's like, can I get you guys anything to drink? But his voice, very white. So this small frame 16-year-old boy had the deepest, most smooth voice I have ever heard. And I was just like, as soon as he talked, I was like, oh, like what just happened? There is no way that voice belongs to you. And it was such the entire conversation was just me like, do you hear that? This is incredible. It's like, can we talk about our day? I'm like, no, that voice. How is that like physically possible? It was incredible. This dude's voice was the most outrageous, out of nowhere. How does it sound like this voice for just this small kid? It was awesome. That's story.
That's hilarious.
Shout out to that guy.
One of my favorite things
Go ahead.
For restaurants is anybody who has traveled for work. I mean, I think it also depends on your company or whatever. I guess my company's pretty lenient on it, but when I travel for work, I eat like a king. Like I go places I have no business going. And I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago, we were doing a new office build, and I went out there to build like the data center and stuff. And I was out there pretty much solo. And I was trying to get this office up and running from the IT perspective, like make sure everybody had internet access, could access all the file servers, stuff like that. And so I was there till I don't know. I worked like 4 days straight, 3 days straight, something like that. And by the time I was done, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go eat something really nice. And I think, I don't know. I think I spent I think I went for dinner. I think I spent like $200 or something like that on dinner at some, I got, what is it? What's that? I got beef Wellington.
Ooh.
I got appetizers, everything.
Ooh.
I sent in my boss knows how much it worked and everything. I sent my expense report and stuff, and like nobody said anything with how expensive that thing was that I got. But I was like, hey, you guys are you're taking me 3 days away from my family and stuff and I'm working like crazy hours. I think I deserve something at least
my beef Wellington
nice like this. So yeah. I got a nice beef Wellington, and I mean, like in general, when I travel, usually we do eat pretty good though.
Yeah.
Which is always enjoy, especially like when the project is over, like that final night, we'll go to like a really nice steak place or something like that, like a Morton's or something.
Yeah.
And that's always enjoyable. But
So like
I don't do that very often.
right. And when Pops was talking about how being uncomfortable in like fancy restaurants, this is my last restaurant comment. When I was my first insurance job that I ever got, they paid for me to go to school. I was an assistant. And then they were like, oh, okay, we're going to put you in an office. You're going to be an agent and you're going to be high net worth only. I was like, what? Which means I was selling insurance to millionaires and I had to build my own book of business. I was like, how the heck am I going to do that? I was in my 20s. I had no business doing that, but it ended up being the best. Like I met a lot of people through charity events stuff. Anyway, long story short, I had a company car to take people to lunch. We went to Capitol Grill, all these fancy places. And I like learned as I would go take these clients to these fancy places, like how to like, use the right fork and put your napkin. And you always ask for a black napkin and all that stuff. But honey, I ate good at that job. And they asked if a lunch was a $500 lunch, nobody asked me a thing. It was awesome. I ate some of the best steak ever at that job. Don't miss it though. A lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Ashley? It's great to have you on the podcast. Great
Thanks.
to have you here. We're also joined by Cheese Pops. Pops, how's it going, dude?
This is my favorite time of year. I do not become the greatest person in the summer, but I love it. I'm super unreliable. I'll disappear for days at a time. I'll be outside grilling. I love grilling. I love the heat. I love everything about summer, the sunshine. Like I'm originally from Pittsburgh, so I'm so used to rain, snow, and misery. So anytime it's a sunny, warm day, it's like bigger than Christmas to me. And then we moved down to New Mexico and every day is sunny and warm. And I've been here for years now, still not over it. It's still the coolest thing. And like this time of year, like, man, just the smell of charcoal, the crack of that can and just like listening to 70s rock and roll.
Dad rock.
Dad rock. Yeah, dad rock. Exactly. I love dad rock. And
yacht
like,
rock,
I just
all
smile
that.
ear to ear. And then July 4th comes up where like it's mandatory. I'm outside grilling. And then it's my birthday. It's almost 2 days until my birthday month, my wife's least favorite time of year. Like I am in my prime. And so I am pumped to be here. Like this is not my best form, but it's my favorite form, if that makes sense. Like it's just, sure. I love the summer. I'm pumped.
I'm so opposite. Like me being in Michigan, if the sun's out, I like it if it's like 62, 63. If the sun, like if there's no clouds, I could do 70s. Anything at 80 or above, no, I'm not going. I don't want to go outside. That's not enjoyable at all. That's terrible.
You're missing out. All right, so Poncho Taco, inside dog, wants the fancy feast. I see how it is. Hoity-toity Poncho Taco.
It's to the point now in Florida, like it's in the 90s every day. So if you go to the pool, you're not refreshed going in that water. You're in bath water. You are in warm, hot water.
People soup.
Yes, 100%. So like, while it's fun and it's always a good time, if you're looking to get in the pool to cool off, honey, they're all hot tubs at this point.
So I went to the father-in-law has a pool, like a nice place, and it's the pool for the community. It's all brand new. It's really nice. And I've not been in a community pool in a long time. Not a big pool guy. They gross me out. It's a weird thing. Won't get into the details there.
Sure.
Like outdoor pools that are clean, I love them. And so the wife and I are there. We're in the pool. We're swimming. Another family comes in. It's a big pool. It's just us and this other family. And I'll tell you what, these little kids had no respect for my personal space in the pool. They're doing backstroke directly into me. And I'm like, what? There's all of this other space. And I'm in my little, is that on me? Because I'm in a community pool, have fun, doesn't matter. But I'm like, what are you doing? And I see the wife having to dodge out of their way. And like, there's a whole other section of this pool. What are you doing right next to us? I think it's on me because I'm not used to being social or in social environments. But at the same time, I'm like, what are you doing, kid? You're backstroking right into my area. I don't know. Is that just what pool? I don't know how often you guys go to pools. Is that just to be expected?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Like I feel like community pools. I mean, you're gonna be bumping into people.
There was always
Not when
like
there's
space.
two sets of people. It's like when you're at the movies and it's you and someone else. Then two people walk in and the theater's empty and they sit in front of you. Like
Every
what?
time.
What? Now here's the problem with me. I have no filter on my mouth. So the last time that happened to me, which was not a pool, it was a movie theater. I looked at the people and I was like, really? Here of all places, and then I moved, but I said something. So like if I was in that pool, I don't think they would have been my friends.
I mean, they were kids. They were very young kids, and like they're just swimming right into me. I'm like, I guess I'll move over here and then come back to where I was once you're gone. But like I thought I was surprised by it. I blame myself because I'm a social butterfly in my safe spaces.
Yes.
But if I get outside of it, like, man, I can't remember the last time I went to a movie that was sold out, like where there's people all around me. That probably would give me anxiety today, which is weird. Like having people all around me, because like every time I see a movie, it's just me and the wife, and I'll blatantly just talk to her during the show because no one's even close.
Right.
Probably more of the state of movies nowadays, anyways. But that
True.
kid was all up in my grill. Like, come on now. I did do a sweet cannonball. I haven't done a cannonball in a long time, and I was proud to know I still got it. I challenged the father-in-law to a cannonball competition, and I nailed my first one. His first one, probably the same amount of time since the last time he did one. He snuck a little leg out. It wasn't good form.
Oh,
so
okay.
he did a cannonball, a little leg snuck out like he was doing. We called them can openers. But he was not offended. He was disappointed in himself. He did do another good one, fully tucked. I'll tell you what, I went fully tucked, but I was scared. It was 10 years or plus since my previous cannonball. And the fact that I still had the confidence to go tucked, you would have loved it, Poncho. I had my full beard, my long hair was flowing, you know. It was a beautiful cannonball.
It was a beautiful sight. Beautiful sight.
He said it looked like just majestic. He's never seen anything like it.
Have you guys ever done like a true belly flop before?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Painful.
It hurts.
Where like you do like, a T pose and you just like fall straight in.
Just knocks the wind out of you.
Why is that a thing? I remember doing the last time I did one, and I don't know if I've ever done one. This might be the only one. I did it. That hurt so bad. It was like like smacking cement. Now this I don't know. I was probably 4th grade when I did this. It was like in a pool, so the water isn't even like wavy. It's just flat water.
That's the worst.
There's nothing to break it.
Yep.
And why are belly flops the thing? Like that hurts so bad.
I'm not going to explain water density or anything to you or how surface water works, but we all did it because our friends dared us to, and because it was funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. Nature knows
Surface
it's
tension.
funny, and so it makes the loudest possible sound too. So even if I'm looking the other way and you belly flop, nature tells me Poncho just made a fool of himself. Like, look at him, and it hurts too. Oh, the belly flop.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
It's the perfect name too. The first person to do a belly flop, and his friends like, you just belly flop, buddy. That is a legend that we need to thank. The belly flop. It's a good word. It's perfect.
Speaking of disappointing, I am so excited to get into video games, including Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, Summer Game Fest. Before we get there, though, I am your host, Pancho Taco. Also, David. I am your host. 40 minutes into this thing or whatever. We're probably like a half hour into this. Yeah, and that's who I am. I'm doing great, by the way, guys. Great, thanks for asking. I'm happy to be here as well.
Cool.
I don't remember asking, but it's good to hear.
I'm happy for you.
Summer Games Fest. Yeah, summer. So it kicked off. This time of year kicked off like a week ago. Sony did their state of play. So that's like their, you guys remember the old E3.
Oh yeah.
Man, and E3 was a complete shadow of what it used to be by the time it died.
Yeah.
But like Man, this time of year was so awesome. Like when you
It
would
was.
have, I think it would be like Friday night, you would have Sony do their presentation, and they would be live on the stage. They would come out with all the triple, and this was back when video game development was smaller, right? You didn't have these multi, like the budget that things are, and
Sure.
the quality that they're pushing out these video games, the way that they look, the fidelity, everything. Like, so like every year you're getting these triple A announcements that were incredible, right? And it was such a good time of year. You'd have Sony on Friday, you'd have like Nintendo on Saturday, and then Xbox is always on Sunday is when they do theirs, and it'd always be 3 days back to back. Really cool. Obviously, that's not how it is anymore.
Nope.
Nintendo pulled out at some point with their directs, and then Sony and Xbox kept it for a while, and then Sony pulled out. Xbox is still doing their thing, apparently. That just not E3 anymore because E3 collapsed like 2 years ago. But I know Xbox has their thing tomorrow. But so this all kicked off like last week with Sony doing their thing, and I can't tell you anything that happened there. No, I can tell you there is one game actually. Astrobot looks very cool. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Astrobot at all.
No.
It's typically a game that Sony only they're always free normally. This is gonna be their first paid version. Normally it's a free game that kind of like comes with like the newest PlayStation tech, and it shows off like the abilities. Like if you get a PS5, you download Astrobot's Playroom, I think it's called. And it's the platform. It is some of the most fun you'll have. It's really short, and it just shows you all the functionality you can do with your controllers and like all the new stuff, the haptic feedbacks, all those type of things. And it's such a good game. Well, they're finally announcing that they're doing a real game release. You know, full-fledged, 80 levels, whatever.
Wow.
And that's at least the one thing that piqued my interest out of it, because I'm like, these games were sick. Like they're demos of tech. They're tech demos. And in the games, like they have, you collect PlayStation history in it, and you go back into a room and you can see like you're these in reality are these really tiny little bots, and you have these giant PlayStation models of just history. Like you have PS1s, PS2s, you have PlayStation Eye. You have all these things that are history, and you can just go and you can look at it. It's insanely detailed and everything. It's really cool, but they're actually making their own like full game finally. People have been wanting this for forever, and I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a day one purchase, I think, for me.
Wow.
I love when games come out and include history. I am such a retro nerd, man. That stuff, I would eat it up. And like, I'm trying to think, this guy had the Astrobot. It was like a PlayStation VR game, right? Like one of the really good ones.
They did do a VR, yes.
Okay, yeah.
To show off the tech of PlayStation VR, yeah, there is one of those.
Okay, yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm jealous. I'm like, I've been fighting my entire life owning a PlayStation just so I can impress that one dude. No one cares that I've never owned a PlayStation. But in my head, man, I've stayed strong for Nintendo and Sega. And also Microsoft to it. Like in my head, I'm doing the Lord's work. I'm kicking butt, never buying Sony. But man, I have been jonesing for a Sony PlayStation 1. I don't know why. Like the bad 3D era, I want in. Like I want to play all of these old games with the bad graphics. I've been playing Sega Saturn, Sega CD. I don't know. They're not fun. But for fun for me, because just to see the history where it all started, like I'm in my retro mode right now, and I would love a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation. I think I would have to get a PlayStation 2, right? Because it's backwards compatible.
It is, I believe. So I have both.
As long as you don't get the PS2 Slim, I think it's backwards compatible.
Is it? Oh, like I've heard all of them are, but some of them might not be.
I have a Slim, and I thought it was, but I don't know.
Typically, whenever a console, and this isn't the case for all of them, but I know for a number of consoles, whenever they come out with a second iteration, they typically drop the previous gen support with it. Like usually the launch version, the OG version, usually does, unless they're just a console that they stop supporting that immediately. But when you get to a second iteration, it's often that they'll drop that type of stuff. So I would say if you're getting PS2, unless maybe the Slim does do it, but I would probably guess just the PS2 Fat.
I have it. I
could
could even check. But
that would be, I would love. It works because like I imagine PlayStation games are cheap too because it's so popular. So even though it's retro, it's not like collecting either really old games now for like the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, even though those were popular, they're super old now and garage sales. And whatnot. But like I imagine there's a ton out there.
Oh yeah, there's got to be so much. I mean, with the popularity when the PS1 came out, with how many games they sold, same with like PS2, like it's got to be pretty easy to. The demand can't be that high on pricing and stuff like that. The used marketplace.
We watched Big Daddy last night, and they were playing Twisted Metal, and I'm like, I want to play Twisted Metal. Yeah. My friend had it. Oh, it's so good. You got to be the clown car, right?
Oh, you have
name,
to.
You have to.
I can't remember if I have
car.
2 or 3, whichever one was the bigger one is the one I have for my PS1. Still my PS1, still my PS2. PS1, first of all, Spyro was my life. Spyro 1 was everything. Like if you were not a PlayStation kid, you were jealous of your friends that had Spyro because it was just so cool back in the day. But I have a game that I don't know anyone else that owns it. It is the funniest and most weird game I've ever played in my life. And if you didn't know, there is a Spice Girls game for the PlayStation 1. And they are like strange bobblehead versions of the girls. And you can like take not a full song, but like clips of songs, and you can like choreograph. And there's no point to it whatsoever. There's no end game to it whatsoever. It's very weird. And they just say like 3 phrases each the whole time. But as a 10-year-old that loved Spice Girls, I was super excited about it. And if you know Barbarous King, the streamer, he does marbles sometimes. And if you win marbles, now there's 1,000 people in that marbles game, but if you win marbles, you can pick any game for him to play. And boy, would I love to have the guts to ask him to play Spice Girls for the PlayStation 1. I mean, he'd play it for like 15 minutes and stop, but it would be the best 15 minutes of my life.
I was actually thinking about this before stream. I'm glad you brought that up. Like Spice Girls, nostalgia, terrible game probably, but like people remember it forever.
Oh, yeah,
I played some Sega CD recently, some of the worst games I've ever played. Like I kind of miss the era of like bad games. And like I know they still make bad games, but like I'll play a so-called bad game like Battlefield 2 and I'm like, holy cow, this is a really well done game. And like there's parts of it they probably should have done better, of course, but like this is smooth. I want dumpster fire like bad games from like the Nintendo era. And like
there's bad ones.
And like I know they're still out there. But like before the internet and before that, like, man, my mom thought I wanted Back to the Future on Nintendo because who doesn't like Back to the Future? She had no idea that LJN stood for something I can't say on this podcast. Like, it is ridiculous. And like, it's summer. I'm in scumbag mode. Like, I want to play bad games. Like, I'm all about it. So I need to check out this Spice Girls game, man. I miss bad games. Like, not really, so but at the same time, so funny. So much content to be had. Like, I think that's a part of my stream now. It's like, let's play these terrible games. Like, how did this get made?
Do you know what I don't envy about kids today? And they would disagree with me, I think, is that back in the day, again, I say this all the time, we played the games that we had. So like my mom got me Casper the Friendly Ghost for PS1 because I loved the movie as a kid. Worst game ever. But I played it because it was a game that I had. I didn't have something where I could have a membership and play every retro thing ever. I didn't have something I could plug in, you know, like a Mister now where I have a core that has every NES game ever made. Like we played what we had. So we played things to completion and we played hard games and we rented hard games and stuff like that. And now just everything is so available at your fingertips that I'm glad I got to experience the crappy games that nobody else would have played, you know, because it's what my mom got because she thought I would like it.
You know what it is? It's video game Stockholm Syndrome. You are kidnapped by that one game that you own, and it just
Pretty
happens to
much.
be X-Men
Yeah.
on Sega Genesis. And you're like, it's not a good game, but I love it. Oh, my
Yeah.
memories of the terrible Jim soundtrack of everything with that game. I've been beating it nonstop, the video game, and like just enjoying it. And it's video game because it's so bad, but you spend so much time with it. I spent so much more. My mom bought me this is all I get for a year. I better like it.
Yeah.
And then by the end, you come out the other side like, I love Back to the Future on Nintendo. The bowling ball, chef's kiss. The mini game between levels that no one can ever beat, amazing. The one soundtrack that loops, that's my childhood. I love this game. They don't have
Ooh.
that anymore.
What about a
You're
PS1 Classic? I don't know
Like,
if those
with
are
all-
expensive.
The game's loaded on it.
Yeah, that come with like 40 games or something. You could look into that. I have one. I never plugged it in, but I have a PS Classic.
I might check into it. Like, I'll be
At least has
honest, I don't know
HDMI.
when it happened, I became a snob. I am a retro snob. Like, I have access to, like, I could play easily, even on my TV, every PlayStation game ever. Like, doesn't count. It's not
Yeah,
the
you want
same.
the heart. You want it in your hand.
I don't know how that happened. I don't know when, because, like, I am notoriously cheap and poor. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? I can't afford to be a snob, but it's some way, like, I'm like, when it comes to video games, I'm Pancho Taco at restaurants. It better be on console. You better be putting it through that retro tank
Original
upscaler,
hardware.
Original hardware. It needs
Yeah.
to be perfect. I don't know how that happened. I have no right to be, but somehow it did, and I'm okay with this. I'm
If
good with it. It's
ever-
fun.
If ever you get a PS1, Pops, Rampage.
Like Rampage World Tour?
Yeah. Did they make it for more consoles than just PS1?
N64 had
I
it.
have the Nintendo version.
Is it the
I have the
same one,
GameCube
though?
version. It's,
Oh,
I mean,
never
they're all
mind.
the
Yeah, there's two.
blow
There was
up
two that
building
were on
people.
N64, and then there's a GameCube one, and I know there's a NES one. I don't think there's one on Super Nintendo.
Oh, I
don't
didn't
think.
even know. Well, that was one of my favorites as a kid because I don't think my parents knew what the heck that was, and I just got to destroy stuff for hours and hours. It was awesome.
We used to rent one of them on Nintendo 64,
Mm-hmm.
and the rule was I could play it as long as I didn't eat at people.
Oh my god, I've
And
heard you
gotta
say
eat
this.
people. That's how you get health. That's how you get health is by eating. But the rule was I could play it as long as I didn't, because they used to have the animation where you grab somebody off the floor, you threw them up in the air like a piece of popcorn,
Yup.
and then you caught them, and then you gained health. The problem was I wasn't allowed to do
Oh
that
my
because that was
gosh.
too graphic or something. So I just had to die.
that is
That was-
I never
adorable.
got very far in the game.
That was like
I-
my parents with the Mortal Kombat blood. I was supposed to turn it off.
90s parents, God bless them. It was a different time. They were doing
Yep.
their best. They were getting all like church and school. Everyone's telling them words like you're a bad person if you do this.
yeah.
And they're like,
Yep.
They probably didn't care, but everyone else in their ear was chirping that they should care.
Video games
You're
are
gonna ruin
bad.
David forever if he eats people. You're gonna see him. If you let him do that, he'll be at school. What
Oh
happened?
my
Like,
God.
well, we sent him to the principal. He ate Billy. He wasn't feeling well. Thought it would heal his health. It's ridiculous, but different conversation for a different day. But that's awesome. That is adorable. I love that. I had I think it was
It's a fundamental system in the game,
was it
and
Universal
I wasn't
Tour
able to do it.
or World Tour
World Tour.
with the wolf.
World Tour sounds
I had the
right.
Game Boy Color version of the game. When I got my Game Boy Color, that was the first game I got for it was World Tour. No saving. And I remember like playing it because I think I had like the battery pack, so unlimited charge. Like I wouldn't turn it off. The game never ends. You go through every city,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing on repeat. But I wanted every now and again they'd give you like the Blamco lab that you could break, so you think you're making progress because that's the goal. I don't know if it's
Yes.
Blamco. I
Right.
wanted to beat that game. I wanted so hard, and that was wow, what a waste of time. Being a kid's great with all that time to waste. It was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Collectathons were so much more fun. Collectathons stink as an adult. You're like, I don't have time for this. I don't want to collect everything. But as a
like
kid, like I
collecting.
got nothing but time this summer. Let me collect everything.
True.
120 stars, easy. Give me all of those puzzle pieces. Let's go.
Yeah.
As an adult, like I can't do this.
So yeah, that was Sony back about a week ago. They did their thing, and we just had the official Summer Games Fest. I think it was yesterday.
Yep.
yesterday, and that's more of like the it's by the people who do like the game awards and everything. So like Jeff Keighley's in front of it. He's kind of like the spokesperson, the guy who gets everything together on that. And they did like, and again, this is like when the big announcements are supposed to happen. I mean, there weren't really any big announcements. I don't think, and I think it's mostly because games just aren't ready. And we're in a state now, I kind of addressed it a little bit earlier, is that games have such big development processes now, right? I mean, you think of like games like Grand Theft Auto 6 right now. I mean, they've been working on it for like 11 years, and we just got a trailer for it within the past 6 months, and it's still not coming out for another year or something. And think of like I don't know. There's so many games. Like they games are almost like AAA games are almost like 10-year cycles at this point, minimum. So like a lot of I feel like a lot of these award shows, or not award shows, but like Summer Game Fest, where they're going to do announcements and stuff, they've kind of lost. And it's not a fault of their own. It's just this is how game development goes nowadays. Is that they're not as entertaining, not as exciting, because you get a lot of like smaller things, which is cool to see, smaller devs getting their spotlight and stuff. But like people want the AAA stuff. They want to see the Resident Evil, what they're doing next with that series. They want to see, they want to see the next From Software game. They want to see the next whatever, and it just, when it doesn't happen, it's not like it's them being like, we're not going to entertain those ideas. I think they want to. It's just that, developments, everything is just slower nowadays because things are huge. Like they can't release a new game every 2 years that's considered AAA anymore. That studios just can't do that. What's
the guy's name again that does all
Jeff
the shows?
Keighley.
He's like the Ryan Seacrest of like the gaming world.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
For me, just all these these big things that they have in the Summer Game Fest and all that stuff, they've just become so underwhelming. Like, why stretch it to 2 hours and have all these people on there that are cringe and not people who talk on a stage ever in their life or talk to anyone really. Some of them, I don't think. And then also for me, I get it. There's not huge games coming out, whatever. No big deal. But I am maybe it's just me. I'm so sick of every time there's an announcement for a game, it's all like theatrical and not gameplay. There's never gameplay ever. Like, show me something. Show me a scene from something. Like when they did the Elden Ring DLC announcement, I was like, what the heck was that? I don't even understand what I just watched.
To be fair with that one, I think they did say this was a story trailer that was coming out.
That's right. But you know what I mean? Like in general, like I just feel like it's so much more theatrical and like it never looks anything like what they show us.
And also like a lot of AAA games are more cinematic than they've ever been. I mean, you play them and they're almost like a lot of them are starting to become like playing a movie at this point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of with the technology of consoles that are being pushed, they're able to do such seamless cutscene to gameplay and then go back and forth, where it takes it back out and stuff. Like I'm thinking of like the God of Wars in particular, like they're fantastic games, and the gameplay is insanely fun, especially in the new ones and the old ones too. But like it's AAA. It's like it's stepping beyond the realm of just being a game nowadays. Right. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's a piece of media, of entertainment that you do control, but it's also trying to tell this narrative that cannot be told unless they take it out of your hands for a while.
Man, like I think when you're in the mood for that, Metal Gear Solid is insanely awesome. Like I love Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 and 3. I played all of them. Well, like you do stuff, but most of it's just an experience you enjoy. Right now, I am in the exact opposite mood. Like I miss arcade games Like, I
Yeah.
know they're not making too many new arcade games. Like, you're in and out in 30 minutes maximum, and it's fun. It's a good, fun 30-minute experience. And one of the greatest arcade conversions to home was House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcast, and later they ported it to the Wii.
Oh,
They
yes.
they had an original mode where you play the game, but now hidden in doors that you couldn't open before. If you shot them with a bullet, you would find in there bullet 2.0, which means you have double the power with this bullet. So the next time you play the game, you could use that as one of your weapons. And now all of a sudden, since your bullets are stronger, you can open up a different door. And this had a different item. So there was items hidden everywhere, and you would try to unlock and find all of the secret items. And like, we played that game so many times, and even though it was an arcade game that lasts 30 minutes, I probably played that more than half of the other story-driven games because it had so much replay value. But that is definitely the exception to the rule, because most arcade games, here's the arcade game, $60. Well, I played that twice, what do now? Like, I want them to get back to a place where they take an arcade game or something like that style, super fun, super short, but like, give me a reason to go back to unlock new things. I love that. And that's what I want right now. Just in and out and enjoy time, because it's summer, quick
it's
go,
summer. My like summer game as a kid, I don't know why, it was always Mortal Kombat. And I feel like if we're going to talk about an arcade game that did it right, like House of the Dead 2, Mortal Kombat started in arcades, obviously. And like, if you really are just playing Mortal Kombat, you go up the ladder, you beat your 10 people, and you're done. It's the end. But then when they started making like the later ones, like Mortal Kombat X, there was collectibles, and there was like things and you could get outfits and upgrades, and it made you keep playing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Like, I totally agree with you. You could really make a game have replay value where it's a 30-minute game.
I missed the crypt. Do you remember the crypt from
yes.
Deception? Oh, the crypt was great. It would have old characters running in the background that weren't in the game.
100% of the crypt. Oh my god, best.
And now, like, the new one, I love the new game. The story's fun, and it has all the collectibles, but, like, you put in your 100 gold, and, like, here's some art. Like, I want random... They would have videos of, like, here's Scorpion cooking, and he would use his sword to cut the lettuce, and it was 5 seconds long. Loved it.
Here's, like, a sketch of the development of this character and what they were gonna look like or whatever, but...
Yeah.
And
but it was never anything as cool.
It's kind of a collectathon, but... I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I will, at the end of this journey, unless they somehow remake Deception, like, Deception was my favorite Mortal Kombat. Had some of the worst characters. Like, the story was ridiculous. You would just wander around. One of the missions, Poncho Taco, like, this old lady stole, like, I'm trying to break into this old lady's house. Go steal her key. You go talk to the old lady. She's like, you'll never get my key. You know how you solve this mission, Poncho Taco? And it's Mortal Kombat. You hit the punch button. You just crack the old lady. She falls down. Her key falls out. You take it. You go in and you get some coins spelled with a K. You move on. Great. Mortal Kombat Deception. If you've never played it, one of the best games of all time. It is just, it captures, and you go through all the realms. And everyone hated it but me. I loved it so much. I missed it. I missed
Poncho
those story modes.
Is not a combo-based fighting game person.
Nope.
I mean,
I'm not at all.
I don't like getting deep into the weeds of fighting. I want to have fun with it and go from there. But like, I've tried, like, with the most recent Mortal Kombat, I did put in the time, and like, I got decent with Johnny Cage, which is always hilarious to me. Because
you are
fun.
Johnny Cage.
Yeah, just the humor, and like, he's sensitive secretly and like overly loud. And I love Sonya Blade. I married Sonya Blade. Like, stay away from me. I love that. That personality is hilarious. But yeah, I love Mortal Kombat. You're right. Like, an arcade game done right at home with all of the collectibles.
100%.
I love it. You know what I weirdly want is, so there was a time in video games where everything was either vertical shooter or horizontal shooter in space. Like, it started with Space Invaders and Galaga, and it kept escalating. And finally, the market, they're like, people are so sick of this type of game that it's almost like extinct now. I can't remember the last time one of those came out. And then first-person shooters came out. You had like GoldenEye started that. Then it's Halo, and then it's Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, 19, Black Ops, World War 3, and like there's a million of those. And I love first-person shooters. Don't get me wrong, sick of them. I feel like I'm at the same place with first-person shooters that the world was back in the 90s. We're like, we are so done with these vertical shooters. Now I want Star Fox that plays like Galaga, that plays like I can't even think, Gradius. You know, I want Fox McCloud in a plane going up and down with power-ups. I want Slippy coming in randomly, like, I'm here to help you, Fox. Boom, gets killed right away. Or like, sorry, Fox, I gotta go. I would eat that up right now. I would absolutely love
Schmuppy style Star Fox.
Yes, a Shmup Star Fox. Even though Shmups were dead in the 90s, bring them back, you know, because that's what the kids want. No one
I don't
else
hate that idea.
Because, I mean, you know, we've been around the block.
I
We've
absolutely
enjoyed
hate
this
that
game.
idea.
I know you do. You want your
I'm not playing a Shmuppy in 2024. I'm not going to spend my time playing video games playing a Shmuppy.
But doesn't it feel like first-person shooters are getting to that? Like, what can they possibly do to a first-person shooter to make it new?
I haven't played a first-person shooter in a number of years, but the only good first-person shooter I played in a while there's a couple. And okay, well, I should say when I haven't played a first-person shooter in a while, I haven't played any like the big ones like Call of Duty,
sure,
Battlefield, anything like that. I have zero interest in. But you give me some of the new Doom games, you give me some boomer shooters like Bolt Gun. I'm playing those games, like those arena based. They're basically puzzles. They're basically, especially Doom Eternal. It's basically playing a first person, ultra violent, ultra gore puzzle. Like you go in, especially in the harder difficulties, like you have to go in, you have to map out where you're going to go. You're ripping, you're tearing, you're blasting. And it's fun. Like it's just nonstop arcade boomer shooter action, and it's like that I can get behind, but I don't know the newer stuff. Like I'm not a competitive player. I don't play online video games at all because I get destroyed, and I don't want to do that because there's all the kids that are playing and they're way better than me. So I like playing my boomer shooters offline.
I will say, if it's been a while, like give like competitive online games, especially the popular ones. Like Mortal Kombat did a great job. If I just got wrecked, they're pretty good at like, all right, let's give him someone more in his skill range. Like as long as there's a lot of people playing the game, they do a lot better job now of kind of balancing who you get matched up with, which I appreciate. Like, because as long as I'm having as long as it's close, I don't care if you beat me, but I want to, like, you're right. If you get in there and just get slapped around, like, well, that
just get annihilated. It's not fun.
That was pointless. But like, you're right. Doom is almost like a first person fighter. Like it's like a fighting game where like, okay, now I need to use my chainsaw and here's where I need to use my flamethrower. It's like, you're right. It's like a math equation fighter. It's like, oh, they left an opening here. It's not just point shoot. That was fun. That was probably the most refreshing first person shooter Eternal in a while. Even the one before it, the first Doom remake, was a good time.
Yeah, Doom 2016.
And then they mastered it with that. Except for the multiplayer in Eternal is garbage.
Yeah, I've heard
it's
bad.
Yeah.
You play as like the Doom guy versus monsters, and it's not fun, Ashley. At no point do you enjoy doing either.
It should have just been a bunch of Doom guys and just remake Quake at that point, right? Do like a Quake shooter. Like they had a good formula there. Just you're a bunch of Doom guys, and that's what they should have done. And just make it shooter, yeah.
And if you want to try something new and do whatever you just did, fine. At least include the bare basics of that.
Yeah.
And so you can try something new, but at least give me that hold me over for a couple of days. But yeah, Doom was pretty good. But give me. I
remember back in 2016 when Doom was announced as a reboot, and everybody was like, "What is this? What is this? Like, come on." This is going to be garbage. And id, who is funded by Bethesda, id develops, Bethesda published. They gave it out. There were no review copies given out to outlets until release day, which that's not usually a good sign when it comes to games, is that they're not confident in it, that the way it's going to ship, that it's going to review well. So they're just like, yeah, it's going to be embargoed until midnight. And you can't put any articles out on the gameplay or anything. and then it hit, and it was like, what is this?
So
Doom
good.
20 Doom in 2016 hits, and it was something like I don't think anybody realized that they needed, was that boomer shooter being brought into into that year. And it's still awesome. And then Eternal was an evolution. I know some people have issues with Eternal. I think I haven't played enough of it to be honest to give a much of a take on it, but I know it just keeps going and going in that direction of difficult puzzle solving, essentially.
Sure.
I love how I come in with, man, I miss shmups. Give me this Star Fox. First person shooter stink. And Poncho just pushes up his glasses, waits for me to say my piece. He's like, I'm going to wreck you. I'm not paying full price for shmups. First person shooters are great. Do you remember Doom? I'm like, darn it, he's right. Doom is incredible.
Yeah.
She just checkmated me while you're sipping your Coke Zero, pushing up your glasses. Touche, Poncho Taco. Win this round.
Poncho, you said you're not like a competitive online player. There's two games in my life that I can truly say I competitively played online. One is Mortal Kombat X. The others, Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. I ever had a group I met of people. I was online for like 2 years, even like when the games were just dead. Every single night I was online playing those games. I didn't care if it was survival mode or like campaign mode or whatever. It depended on what mood I was in. You never played Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2 online with randos?
No, never did.
Wow, it's fun. It was a very fun experience back in the day.
The one game that I probably played the most of online, with like strangers and maybe like a friend here or there would join too, was probably Call of Duty 4.
Oh,
that was back when they reboot. That's when they brought in Modern Warfare.
mm-hmm.
No other shooter was doing Modern Warfare type. Everything was still World War II at the time. So it was like, somebody's doing Modern Warfare. What is this? Like, and it hit and it was awesome. And it was before like, people could call in nukes. Like you can call in nukes and just kill everybody and end the game. Now you can call in like 55 helicopters that are dropping like C4 bombs and like shooting them and shooting people at the same time. And like, yeah, I don't even know what current Call of Duty. It's insane what it's turned into. But like back then it used to be, you had your perks. Everybody had the same, like the pool of small perks you could choose from. And then your leveling was, you could do, once you got to like 5 kills, you could call in, if at 3 kills, you could call in a UAV for your team. At 5 kills without dying, you could call in a helicopter, or maybe it was an airstrike. And then at 7 kills without dying, you could call in a helicopter that would hover above and shoot people and stuff. And like, that's all it was. And it was pretty flat there. The guns didn't have a ton of customization other than maybe putting silencers on them, maybe putting on a scope, and that's it. And like,
I miss those days.
Yeah, I miss the simplicity of online shooters before they came into like people running around with like Hello Kitty M16s.
Don't judge me.
I don't know. Shooters have become such a weird mix of, I don't know.
The most fun I've ever had playing Call of Duty, because my experience was I'd run, get shot in the back. I'd run, get shot in the back. I'd run, get shot in the back, because I don't play it strategically. I play it like Halo, where like you can kind of go in all willy-nilly. And I'm terrible at, like, Halo has a mode that's similar where it's like 2 body shots, 1 headshot, game over. I don't have the focus for that. I'm here to have fun, not be strategic. And I found out if I played with Riot Shield, flash grenades, and throwing knives, I have an absolute blast. So I'd throw out a flash grenade, people would be shooting wildly and hit the thing, and I'd throw the throwing knife, and then my secondary weapon would always be the anti-air. And so I would always love when like someone calls in the UAV, I just shoot it down too. So all I'm doing is being the biggest troll. And I'd have my adult sodas to the side, just laughing. I'm not helping my team at all.
Right.
I'm just making the gameplay experience for the people on the other side miserable, because half the time they can't see, and like my kill death ratio would be like 2 to 2, 2 deaths, 2 kills. But oh man, did I impact the rounds, and I had so much fun doing that.
You'd be the guy who's crouching in the corner with his riot shield up so that nobody can come in from the sides or anything. The only way they can get you is if they throw a grenade that happens to bounce behind you, or somehow they jump over you. But by then they've been killed by many other things. You're that guy.
And even if they kill me, they're stunned because I'm throwing stun grenades. All of my perks were put into stun grenades and throw it. Oh, I loved it. And then I was so excited because I was in a mood. I wanted to play more Call of Duty first because when the mood hits, those games are so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And I bought a Black Ops 1, I think for the Xbox One or whatever.
That was my game.
And it was the one where the riot shield was a superpower. So you can't have it the whole time. They realized scumbags like me were ruining the game for everyone. And so you had to get a kill streak. I forget how it worked to get the riot shield out. And I was like, no, I have to earn it. I can't just be a jerk. And it made me so mad. I'm like, I'm never playing a video game again. But since then, I've played video games. But
Black Ops 1 was my Call of Duty that I was obsessed with. I was such a camper. Oh my God, everyone. That was at the time when everyone on the headphones, camper.
But that's how you have to play the game.
Oh,
it's
I
like
loved
strategic.
It.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, they want people who are running around, but then they get mad at you for camping, and then they also get mad at the people who run around with snipers one-shotting people and stuff like. It's like,
true.
Okay, you have two ends of the spectrum. How do you want people to play your video game?
Not a lot of better video game endorphin feelings than just throwing a grenade across the map because you're being a jerk, and then it says you killed someone. You're like, they're mad. You know they're mad. I love a good Hail Mary toss.
I used to play. When I played Call of Duty 4, it was on PC, which is I don't know if anybody played these on PC, but back in the day, it was an entirely different experience than console, because when you went into multiplayer, you had a server list. You guys know server lists on PCs. Like people would have dedicated servers to stuff. So like you actually found it was kind of interesting. You actually found communities this way. And there would be like maps in Call of Duty 4 that would have 24 slots, maybe 30. I can't remember what the limits. I think it depends on the size of the map. And you would go in and like they would have moderators in there who were playing and they would be ready to like ban people. And they had server rules like you can't use martyrdom, you can't use last stand. There's certain perks that we just don't allow it here. And eventually you'd be like, you find a server that clicks and you would just play, and you'd end up playing with like the same like 30 people every night. And then like nobody was on voice chat. Everybody was just text chat because it's PC. You can just text chat so much nicer. And they would have like, they would have filters for like language, and certain types of moderation, to get rid of, and we all know online video games, people for some reason love to be racist on those. And they would have those type of tools in place that would just immediately delete that type of language out of the text. You would never even see it, which was cool. So like the online version of PC of Call of Duty 4 was really cool because you just found like communities kind of, and you would just play and you would kind of get to know people, and like somebody would come, like there'd be like somebody comes in, you could see like so and so join the chat, and all these people would be like, hey, good to see you, dude, like in the chat. like we just knew who people were, and it was really kind of wild that a game like that, and it was all based around PC having dedicated servers so that you could go and play with specific like rule sets you like, moderation that you like, stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I like that.
Now it's not like that. I don't think any you buy a PC game that is online like Call of Duty today, it's all just whatever servers they have. There's no dedicated servers anymore.
I miss those days.
Oh yeah. Those were good. So we just had I know tomorrow being Sunday, the 9th, Xbox has a thing going on. They're going to be doing some announcements. The rumor is it's going to be another Gears year. I don't know if people are really excited about Gears of War anymore. Gears of War back in the day on 360 was sick. It was sick. It was so cool. I don't know where Gears is today. But there's heavy rumors of a new Gears going to be announced again. Gears 6, I think, at this rate. I don't know. I don't really have an interest. Usually these days when Microsoft is going to do something, I don't even tune in. I usually just read the highlights if there's anything. Microsoft is in just such a weird state these days. I feel they don't know where their place is in the marketplace. They're trying to get people into their games as a service, and it's working. People have a lot of people have Game Pass and it's successful, but it's like, why are people buying Xboxes today? I don't know.
I don't see a reason.
When you can get, most of their games are multi-platform nowadays, or at least minimum PC ports.
Well,
I don't know.
I will say we are so overdue for a big Nintendo Direct. Tis the season right now as well, and there's some buzzing going around in the world of yet another port of Wind Waker Twilight Princess, which, okay, like, how many systems are we going to do this on? But it would be a really good, like, last ditch effort for Nintendo, since they have a new console that's supposed to come out next year, so who's going to really be like, everyone's gonna be waiting, like, there's something really exciting happening, but that would be huge. Like, it would make me replay Twilight Princess, not Wind Waker, but Twilight Princess. I would totally stream it if they redo it. I know Poncho wouldn't be super excited about it, but I hope they do it. I hope that this time the rumors are true. That we got everything else pretty much ported. Like, just give us the other ones.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Nintendo is known for sometimes doing the bare minimum to limp something along when they need it to. So it wouldn't surprise me that they would do this, because they know they can, fund a new console with it essentially on day one of release. Everyone's just going to buy it, regardless of if it's a decent port or not. People are just going to buy it. Even though I don't really see what they're really going to change from maybe like the Wii U version, other than, hey, here it is on a cartridge versus a disc or a digital download.
Put a Triforce on it, I'm going to buy it. The end.
I'm a sucker. Yeah, same thing. Like, I didn't buy 1,000 Year Door because I have 1,000 Year Door. There's nothing you can do to that game to make it like, oh, it's in HD. It looked great on the GameCube. Like, I'm not paying $60. And then they're re-release Zelda game. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure, that makes perfect sense. I'll buy that again.
I'm gonna do 1,000 Year Door. I'm in a series right now where I'm doing Donkey Kong Country 1 through 3, and I'm still on 2, but I'm close to beating it. And once those are done, I'm gonna replay my favorite ever Paper Mario, which is Paper Mario 1.
Great one.
Oh, it's so good. Which I still don't understand why they remade 2 and not 1. It makes no sense to me. Or not both. But I've actually avoided. Or
Sticker Star.
Okay. Well,
Color Splash.
Sticker Star was so bad. Color Splash, it was at least fun.
Sticker Star is the only not fun one. It's the only one that's not fun.
Sticker Star is confusing. Like, what if you attack using stickers? Bam! Someone should have slapped whoever said that, because that makes no sense.
No.
What if you attacked by drinking out of juice boxes? That's a great idea, Mike. The juice box mechanic. Like, no, it doesn't make any. I'm out of stickers. Well, game over. You should have collected more stickers and juice boxes. It's insanity. The fact that got past, like, the room. This is Nintendo, where everything has to be like, that's why I love Nintendo. They don't let things get out that are bad. And yet they're like, yeah, this is great. Very, very rarely, Poncho.
Have you seen the new Pokemon games?
I mean, those are fine. It's Pokemon. It's an RPG, which numbers based. So like Rock Attack beat this. Like, that's the heart of Pokemon is that.
Quality.
No, like, Pokemon has never been artistic. Like, the graphics of Pokemon have always been bottom tier.
Nintendo has they know Pokemon is their number one selling system. They will sell systems for that game in particular, and they know they don't have to do any work on Pokemon to make it sell. So they don't.
Exactly.
Like, the newest Pokemons run like garbage. Like, their frame rates are like all the time.
But that's not
so low. And Nintendo doesn't care. They're just like, Game Freak, do what you want. We just do the minimum. We don't require any effort to be put into this game. Make a couple new Pokemon, people will buy it, and they will, like, I don't know, they'll say it's the greatest thing ever, and it's not.
Well, that's what they want. It's not for you.
Yes. But
they don't want a story. They want collecting, which is always endorphin releasing, shiny, which is always, that's like opening up a pack of cards and getting a hologram. And
Mm-hmm.
then the classic Pokemon, Leaf or Fire Beats Leaf, Stab, EVs, IVs. Like, Pokemon is insanely deep when it comes to the RPG elements of it. Like, borderline ultra intimidating. Like, I got into it because of Ironmon and the EVs and IVs, and making a Pokemon that's decent for competitive. Like, it just, my head exploded how
Yeah.
much depth there is. Because I loved Pokemon back when it was a collectathon. I'm getting 151. The second you had to start transferring Pokemon from old games to complete the Pokedex, like, I'm out. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
so that's when I got out of Pokemon, because I liked the completion collectathon part of it. Then
Me
they
too.
kind of went away from that. But like, when it comes to like graphics and story, like, it's been the same since the first one. Nothing's changed. And you're right, like, Nintendo is going to keep pumping them out because people will play it, but that's what they want out of it. Like, that's never going to appeal to you, or, to be honest, me at this point, because like, I don't care about that stuff. But like, for the people that love Pokemon, they're going to be super into no matter what they do. So
yeah.
why invest extra money into it if you're still, like, Nintendo is notorious for, like, we're not putting an extra cent into this if we don't have to. Notorious.
They know that Nintendo knows that they have like the Disney effect, right? Where they can lock things away, make it impossible to play, come and kill you if you even try to play it some illegal way, because they made it impossible for you to play any other way. So you try to do something that's like, I'm going to try, because this game is literally inaccessible, nobody can play it anymore. I'm going to try playing it on an emulator. No, they're going to get mad at you for that. You're going to get big time busted for it.
Busted.
And even though it's a game they're never going to remake in any way possible ever again. But like, I don't know. Nintendo really irritates me. I like a lot of their properties, but them as a company irritates me to no end.
How hard would it have been?
Sometimes.
How hard would it have been
fanboy
to keep the Mario Maker 1 servers? How hard would that have really been for them? I don't even play Mario Maker 1. I don't care. No offense. No, I started in Maker 2. I only played Maker 1 to play Buffalo levels, and I downloaded them all, so I have them for the day that I feel like it. But for my friends who loved it and still played it, like, come on. How hard would that really have been for you, Nintendo? Come on now.
Can I tell you guys something? I had a vision last night about Nintendo. A vision. And it felt like,
let's hear it.
It felt like a religious vision. Like, this might come true. And if it
Prophecy?
does, I am the Nintendo prophet.
Okay. So
hear me out. The Super Switch, the Super Nintendo Switch, which, if they don't put Super in front of it, they need to. It's such a simple thing to do. The Super Switch, when it comes out, it will come out with a new 3D Mario, which, Prophecy, whatever, everyone's calling that. It will also release with Metroid Prime 4. And here's the kicker. Here's what's going to make it cool. You can use the original Switch as a controller for it. That's the big prophecy. So the controller, you have your original Switch, and you can control the Super Switch with it. And Metroid Prime 4's map is going to be on your original Switch. So you're going to be able to play the game, look down, and your original Switch is going to have the map. And it's going to be like they did the Wii U, but it's not going to cost them a penny because everyone already has the Switch. And so the Switch, you're not going to throw it away. You're going to use it as a controller.
Did you ever play? I want to say it was available on this version. Smash Brothers Wii U.
Yeah.
Not the Ultimate, but the Wii U. You could use your 3DS as a controller. I don't know if you guys knew.
They were practicing. They were preparing for this moment. The prophecy. It's all lining up, Paunch. They knew. They knew at one point an old system would control a new one. That was the test. We got to test it. The Wii U's a dud. Let's test this out anyways, because the Switch is going to be good. And then the Super Switch, it's going to be incredible, Punch. When it happens.
I don't think this is going to happen, Pops.
What? It's the perfect controller. You have everything built in, Bluetooth connectivity. Now you can see Metroid Prime 4 map right there. So now your old Switch has value. Oh, it's going to be incredible. And if you don't have an old Switch, they're going to sell like some crappy other screen. Trust me, you're going to want to keep your Switches for the Super Switch. The prophecy, it's happening. Lock it in. that happens, do you know how arrogant I'm going to be for like months?
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to be running my mouth nonstop.
Months?
The amount of years.
Years.
I'm
the rest of your life.
What's going to happen? We're going to post this podcast, and like 3 days later, David's going to get a call. It's like, hey, it's Shigeru. You're going to be like, yeah, what's up, man? What's going on? You want to play some games? You'll be like, no. Give me Cheese Pops' phone number and address. And you'll just hear a shotgun being like cocked in the background.
Like, it's gonna be Doug Bowser.
Who told him? How does he have the intel? I don't know. I guess I'm more or less just missing. I miss video game accessories. And so this is like last episode we talked about like how I wish there was an accessory for a screen on your hand.
Yeah.
Like, they have it built in. Why not use the Switch as a controller? It seems like easy peasy. No money.
Do you really think they would call it Super Switch? Do you think they're going to go down that route? I mean, we all know Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Okay, they did it there successfully. Recently, though, they did Wii to Wii U. So a similar type of naming convention, although they put it after the original name instead of something, before it, to something to precede it. Do you think they're going to go down that route again, or do you think they're just going to call completely new? Do you think they're going to do something like Super Switch?
Will be in the next name. I'm so certain.
Yeah. I feel the same.
I mean, I can kind of see it because the rumors that have leaked is the next Switch is not going to be like a revolutionary console. It's going to be more of the same. Is kind of what I've been reading. Like, maybe they're going to up the internals. Hopefully, better. Everybody would like better battery life on any type of handheld, better screen, at a lower rate because the technology is cheaper now. So, from what I've heard, is it's going to be more of, it's not going to be revolutionary. What they're doing, it's just going to be a step up. I don't know if they're going to have a lot more features. I don't know what that means. Obviously, nobody knows. It's all speculation. But based off of the rumors and there's been some leaks to it to an extent, it seems like it's just going to be kind of like essentially like a Switch 2. Switch 2.
100%.
So maybe it is. I don't know. All I know is they had the
Zelda.
Wii U and everybody who was not in the gaming sphere didn't know the Wii U was a new console. They thought it was an add-on. Nobody knew what a Wii U meant. I know somebody got in trouble over at Nintendo. I mean, for that one, they fumbled really bad. So I'm curious what they're gonna do. I'm curious.
What if they start?
Oh no, I have a quick prophecy. This is my prophecy.
I had another prophecy. I want your prophecy first.
Okay, here's mine. When they announced the Switch, the Switch 2, right? We had a big Zelda game that was coming out with the Switch, even though it was supposed to be Wii U, but whatever. I think they will announce the Switch 2, but instead of another big open Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, I think they will remake Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. And that will be the big release with the Switch 2.
Like ground up, take the original Zelda and make it like a 3D game.
100%. Not even necessarily 3D, but they will reskin and redo the entire game.
So how they did Link's Awakening. Like similar, like completely.
Exactly. Okay. Give it the Link's Awakening treatment. That's my prophecy.
I will be shocked if they do. I will be shocked if they do Zelda 2. Nintendo seems to like to exist that game never happened.
God, I love that game.
They seem to act like that. I would be shocked if they ever touch Zelda 2 again. I don't think Nintendo likes that game.
So Metroid 2 kind of had like similar vibes to it, where Metroid 2 is a weird game on Game Boy. Like it's very linear, where once you kill enough Metroids, it opens up. So it's like, it was kind of the black sheep. And then it took a long time. They did eventually fix a lot of the issues and remade it. So like, I think Nintendo is notoriously stubborn. When they get something wrong, they like to eventually fix it, which I think the Virtual Boy the Virtual Boy is coming. What if it's Switch 2 Virtual Boy, where you can actually wear it on your head? That's stupid. That's not part of Prophecy Corner, though. What about What about this? What about a variety? So, what do you call the thing you put the Switch in to play it on TV? That's like the
Dock.
deck, right?
The dock.
The dock. I was close. What if they had like limited edition docks? This dock you can actually play your Nintendo games on. So if you have old Nintendo cartridges, you plug it into the dock and you could play old Nintendo games on your Switch. Oh, they would steal so much money from me. If they had this Super Nintendo dock, you could plug in Super Nintendo games and play using your Switch controller. Prophecy number 2. That's it. It's a terrible prophecy. It doesn't make them any money. But can you imagine limited edition docks to play your old Nintendo games in HD? Prophecy Corner. I love Prophecy Corner. I'm sorry. Just throw out ridiculous ideas.
I don't know. I don't think that Pops. I think that's a pipe dream, buddy.
You've been killing me today.
I don't think anything
Paunch.
like that's gonna happen.
Give me my shmups. You're like, no. Give me my Switch controller. You're like, terrible idea. What about customizable docks? You're like, what about better ideas? You're killing me.
Wow.
Let me dream. Let me dream, Poncho David Taco.
Okay, wait, speaking of Poncho David Taco, Punch, did you beat Grand Pool 3 since last podcast?
I did. 222 hours, 31 minutes.
On the dot.
Yep, that's when we saw the end of the credits. 222 hours, 31 minutes, and no seconds.
You played it. Oh, first off, congratulations. That is amazing. Dude. You should feel super proud.
Huge.
Did you use the Switch as a controller? Just kidding. If you played it again right now, if you just started reset level 1, how long do you think it would take you? Like, what's the amount of growth you think you got from that grind?
I would say probably 150.
That's
minimum.
what I would have said for you. 100%.
Yeah. It's still going to take me a while. There was a part in that game where I had to backtrack for puzzle clues, and the levels I had to return to were still insanely hard. They were still insanely hard. Yeah. But I did finish it. Yes, that's correct. I did finish it about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago tomorrow, I think it is. Yeah, I beat it. I went back and in the past 2 weeks, I think I played Mario World 4 streams and I beat 2 more hacks.
Yeah.
In the time it took to do
it's
that intermediate
crazy,
hacks.
The skill.
Or no, one was intermediate, and then I did a beginner hack in one stream.
Yeah.
And finished that one. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird not having this Everest in front of me, right? Grand Poo World 3 was kind of like my Everest for like, so I started playing it in November. So I mean, that's over 7 months. About 7 months I played it. Now, that being said, I would only play, maybe I think I was like 16 hours a week for a long time. Only 2 streams a week were dedicated. My Sundays and my Fridays were not. And then at one point I got to a point in that where it's like, there's so much muscle memory involved with these later levels.
Right.
I just have to commit. Every stream is going to be Grand Poo World 3 until it's done, because there's so much muscle memory. I can't forget how to do certain things. Otherwise, we're going to be here for eternity. But no, I did finally clear it.
GG. So proud of you.
Very, very. I enjoyed all of it. It was a very some very fun ideas. Some what seemed like impossible tasks to do. But it's done. It's completely done. I spent 35 hours on one boss, which is essentially one screen. Right. 35 hours. Yep. Not even the final boss. The final boss was significantly shorter, significantly easier, which was by design, because this other one that took me 35 hours was an Easter egg type boss.
Wasn't even required.
Not required to win. But it was required for me because because I don't have a skill issue. Okay, that's what it is.
Stubbornness.
So it was required for me. So I did it. But no, it was awesome. I enjoyed it from top to bottom. Will I return to it again? Maybe in like 100 years. I don't know. There's a whole lot of other Mario out there to play. Grand Poo World 2 is still out there. Grand Poo World 1, yes, I will play that someday. I am going to. I know it has its issues, but I'm playing Mario on stream anyway. Why not play Grand Poo World 1? I don't really care what it is.
Someday I would love to see you play that. But GG, dude, I was there for almost every one of those 222 hours. It was really, really awesome to watch how much you grew. And your chat, just a little tidbit, your chat the other day basically all begged you to play the ROM hack Love Yourself, which was my first ever ROM hack. It's an easy ROM hack, and you beat it in what, like an hour and 18 minutes, like
something like that.
A hack you'd never seen. Like, I think there's like 19 exits in that hack. It was just really cool, like to see you breeze through something like that after playing such a difficult export ROM hack for the first time. But GG, bro, that was awesome.
Yeah. GG. And now I've been taking a small break from Mario because I'm like, you know what? I played Grand Poo World 3 for 222 hours. I think I'm owed a little break, so I've been playing Lies of P, a Souls-like game, which is really cool. I am fully enjoying 100% of that game. Really cool. And I think I'm going to commit to be playing more Souls games after this one. I'm really enjoying it. I actually have it here on my desk. I did just buy Demon Souls, the remake.
Ooh.
For PS5. There was Demon Souls on PS3, which was the first From Software game that was in I don't know if it's their first game in general, but at least their first Souls-like. And they remade it last year, the year before, on PS5 from the ground up. It's a true remake. I'm really interested to get into this one. Maybe next. I don't know yet. There's still like Sekiro, DS3 I'm really interested in and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think I'm going to commit to some more Soul stuff because I'm very much enjoying Lies of P, which is awesome.
Love it.
But Mario's not going anywhere though. I'm still going to be playing some Mario.
I think for me with Mario, like I love the beginner ROM hacks are so much fun. They're amazing. They're so well done. They're challenging, but the challenge is usually you'll beat the level 10, 15 minutes and you'll enjoy it. And then I get into intermediate and I enjoy 90% of it. And then you hit a sticking point and the sticking point is like, okay, now I have to play this section a million times.
Right.
And I think for me, like, I think I just enjoy the beginner to beginner intermediate. I have a better time with it. I see more different things than to see the same thing for 30 hours in a row. And like, I get more endorphins that way. And so maybe that's just the mood I'm in because I'm in summer scumbag mood. So like maybe when I'm more focused, school year starts, like maybe that's the time I get into one of those longer, harder grinds of a hack. But I do like, I like the balance of 15 minutes to an hour per level. Anytime I go past an hour on the same sections over and over again, I get frustrated for me. And maybe that's just right now. Like, how did you get over seeing the same thing and failing to the same thing? Like, I know different parts of it, but like, man, after an hour, I have to move on. But like, you killed it. You made it entertaining the whole way through those long grinds.
Like, so for me, a good stream was one level per stream. You know, my streams are minimum 3 hours, minimum. Sometimes go longer. So a good GPW3 stream for me was beating one, and I was able to beat one level per stream, probably for 70% of it, 75% of it.
Yep, 70%. I'd say.
Yeah, and then after that, okay, maybe 2 streams, maybe the occasional 3. And then I was getting to some levels that were taking me, you know, over a week to do. So some would take me like 10 hours to beat. And really the thing that kind of keeps you going in that, in those situations, like I would never play something like this in my own time. I just wouldn't. But the thing that kind of keeps you going in there is honestly chat that keeps you going. If it wasn't for chat being, calling you, telling you how bad you are 24/7.
All the Keck W's.
Yeah. Cause saying you have a skill issue 24/7. And of course, cheering, subbing, everything like that. Of course, if it wasn't for that, that really adds to being able to do this kind of thing, at the skill level that I sit at when it comes to SMW, it's really like the chat that kind of drives you to be like, okay, yeah, I'll play this level for 4 hours, whatever. I'll beat it eventually. I've got the same people who have been there from the first day I started playing it, and they're still there on watching me fight Bowser on hour 28, and I'm not making any progress. They're still there, and I'm like, hey, we're still talking about whatever stupid thing that we're talking about at the time.
I think like for me with my skill level, because I went from beginner to now I'm starting to do intermediate, and like I'm finishing Aquagari bonus world, which Aquagari Deluxe is like a notoriously difficult intermediate hack. But it's taking me a couple months to beat it. Now, again, I only play SMW Tuesday, Thursday. A couple of weeks I took off on a day or two, so it's taken me quite a while. But for me, it's a mixture of stubbornness, because there's so many of like the boys in like the community who are just like, this is out of your skill level. Don't play deluxe. You can't do deluxe. You shouldn't be playing this one. For some reason, a lot of people have opinions on my skill level, which is fine. But I have to be the one to say, oh, you rage quit on that level? Yeah, it took me 5 hours. Sucks to suck. I beat it. Yeah, I beat it. That's the best.
One of my favorite scenes of all time is this old Family Guy, little off subject, when Peter helps Joe win like the Olympics by giving him steroids, but they make the movie of the Joe Swanson story, and Peter's played by I think B. Arthur or something. He's like, "You'll never do it, Joe. You might as well give up." And Peter was so supportive the whole time, and the fact and so the wife and I will always look at each other and be like, "You'll never do it, Cheese Pop." She'll say it's an inside joke, and it's one of my favorite things. And like, I think what Grand Pooh Bear, which the game is named after, he's like, stubbornness is 90% of getting good at these hard games.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's the stubbornness. Plus, for me, when I take 5 times longer than most people do, like to beat a level, that W is also 5 times bigger, because everybody that's been watching me play that level that took you an hour but took me 5, that built like they want you want to be there for the big moment, for the big passing through the ribbon, like at the end, like you want to be there. And it's just such a huge W and like such a huge moment that I don't mind if something's Ponch has always told me, go out of your skill level a bit when you're playing SMW, because that's how you're going to get good. So these hacks are tough sometimes. I'm on levels for 10 hours sometimes, and it is what it is, but I'm doing it, baby.
My suggestion is, and I know other people have different approaches to it, but just jump into intermediate. Yeah, just do it. That's how you're gonna learn. Start with modern ones, maybe, because you get boomers. You get the older ones, and there's a lot of boomer strats that just don't exist anymore. Like duplicating an invisible Yoshi. Like I don't even know how that works, but you can do it because the Super Nintendo or the game itself doesn't know how to react with 2 Yoshis on screen, so it makes one disappear, right?
Yeah.
It can do the baby Yoshi and the big Yoshi, but it can't do 2 big Yoshis. Like the game freaks out and like it just makes one disappear. Like that's just in the netcode or whatever. So like there's a way to duplicate Yoshis or whatever, but my suggestion is just there's endless options for intermediate Kaizo.
Yep.
Go to SMW Central, sort by most downloads, not by highest rating, sort by downloads, and you're going to get a list of really good hacks that there's a reason it's so downloaded so much, because it's good. People like it.
Yeah.
I will say too, especially for people that don't stream and like they're like, oh, I'll never be able to experience what Poncho just beat Grand Poo World 3. I don't want the time. I would love to experience it, but I'm not going to use save states. Save state your way through it. There's no shame there. If you want to experience a game and you don't want to be good, have fun with it. Because I'll tell you what, it is a ton of fun to do a single trick in Mario. That's why we all play Mario. Pulling off a shell jump feels good. Pulling off a shell jump and a reclaim after doing a regrab is hard and sometimes miserable. But if you save state and you're going to feel good. So if you want to experience Grand Poo World 3 and not put in 300 hours, use save states. It's about having fun and you can experience it. So like, if you're thinking about like, I don't think I'd tell a streamer to do that unless they're like I just want to see the game, and I'm not a Mario streamer. Because if you're a Mario streamer and use save states, I can't imagine the vitriol that would come at you. The chat the entire time.
You're not
would be
a real gamer.
You're a phony. You're a phony. That man's a phony. And like, I don't agree with that. And that's just gonna happen. But like, if you're a streamer that streams like Mario Kart or like Donkey Kong and you want to play Mario ROM hack, just do save states. Who cares? Like, that's like, if you want to enjoy a game, enjoy a game. There's no shame there.
I do want to clarify though, when I say just go to intermediate, there's still a lot of really good beginner Kaizo hacks out there that are just fun. That are just fun. I'm not trying to discredit them. I'm just saying if you want to get good, push yourself to what intermediate is a way to get good. It's going to force you like beginner. Yeah, you might struggle a little bit, but it's really it's hard to explain. It's almost like slow motion at times compared to when you jump into something else. But like, if your goal is to get good and to understand Kaizo better, just jump right into intermediate, in my opinion.
It's
but also then go back and play some beginner ones, because there's some good beginner ones.
Oh yeah,
it's so misleading. I feel like we should put like a disclaimer: beginner Kaizo is hard Mario. Like, you're in hard mode. Like, if
it is, yes.
Oh yeah.
You get beginner Kaizo and you play it and you're having a really hard time, it's because it's really hard. It's just, we're three nerds that have wasted our life playing Mario way too much. And so now, like, beginner Kaizo is so easy. Like, if you want to get into it, have fun with it. Don't get discouraged. Like, millions of hours. Like, just enjoy it.
And what I'll also say to people who stream SMW, people like to watch a struggle. Like, you might be like, oh, this is not good content because I can't beat this level. The viewers like to watch. Pops. No, I'm serious.
So
the viewers like to watch somebody struggle for an hour, 2 hours, and finally get the W. Like, viewers live for that. Like, that's what they like to watch.
Like
you might think like, oh man, this. I can't do this. People are gonna think. People are gonna get bored. They're gonna leave. No, they're getting more invested. The longer that you're in it, the closer you're getting. The PBs, and then suddenly, oh, now you're regressing. Now I can't even do the first jump anymore. What's like, how many times did I say that in Grand Poo World 3? I was like, oh, there's the clear. And then the next 2 hours, I'm like, I can't even do the first jump anymore. I've regressed so bad. That happened so many times.
Yeah.
I get so self-conscious, and and then I get grumpy. And I'll tell you what I love? Watching streamers take a long time on a level, grind it out, get self-conscious, and get grumpy. When a happy streamer is grumpy, oh, I love it. But when for some reason when I'm doing it, I'm like, nobody likes this. This is terrible. And everyone's like, no, you fool. You know everyone wants to see the streamer suffer. Streamer suffering is what Twitch is built on. And for some reason, I cannot jump over that hurdle in my head. And it's still there. It's still going to be there, but whatever.
It always will be.
Scumbag. I'll try someday. But I love when Poncho gets grumpy on stream. It's hilarious. It happens rarely, but it's always so much fun.
Rare,
when
but
Ashley
it's hilarious.
does it, it's funny. When I do it, it's funny. But for some reason, it gets into my head. Oh, man. I love when, like, Barb is the expert. Grumpy Barb. It's like eating a steak.
It's good content. People love it. People love it. Absolutely. All right. Well, we are going to move into our email section at this point of the podcast. We're starting to run the length here. So we do have an email that came in. For those listening, we do have an email address. It's email@arcadeparlorcast.com. You can send in notes. You can send in questions. You can send in criticism, which I don't even read. I just put it right in the trash. So you can send it in. I'm not going to read it, though. Email @arcadeparlorcast.com. We do have an email that was submitted. Ashley, I sent that over to you. Would you mind reading that for us?
Not at all. This one comes to us from Eric from Colorado, and it says, "Hey crew, what shows are you watching? Favorite show?"
X-Files. We're on season 6 or 7. I can't remember. We just finished the movie, and it's nostalgia. I won't get into the plot of X-Files, but it's fun to know, like, we're finally to the point where I have all the answers. I know what season 1 through 5 is about finally. I know who the cigarette smoking man is. But every time I watch X-Files, I have the biggest smile on my face because the theme song, absolute banger. But it looks like a kid in like
Iconic.
7th grade put together all of the images. And it's so adorable. It's like, FBI, this ghost thing. And it's so... It's the most adorable theme song. And you know, by like
Oh my
season
gosh.
2, when they have a budget, like, we have to change this. It looks like a child put this together. And I hope the person that's like, nope, this is our theme song forever and we're not changing it. Kudos to them because they kept the same. They could have, what I mean by like, you have to keep the song. The song is great, but the images that go along with the song are so hilariously bad. And once the budget ramped up, they're like, nope, we're keeping this. We're riding it out. And I love the theme song. I love the images that go along with it. It's so underproduced that it just makes me smile to no end. So we've been rocking X-Files, loving it. Every night we watch a couple of episodes at this point in time. And I'm excited to say I've watched the entire series. Like, I think we're at this point, we're close enough to the end. We ought to ride out when Mulder's gone and they have the T2 or like the Terminator from 2, where Scully is now like, why can't you believe that this is actually a werewolf ghost? All the scientific facts point to werewolf ghost. Like, I'm
Scully's the one saying
that's what they do. They flip flop it, I think, if I can recall.
Oh
but
man, I love it.
It's been a fun grind.
What's your favorite X-Files episode?
Oh, the joke ones, the ones where they kind of let the cast have humor. Like Scully is super snippy in some episodes, and those are the best ones where she is done putting up with Mulder's crap, and it's so funny. There's an episode where it's about like the signs and like the stars and the planets align, where it turns Mulder and Scully basically back into teenagers. So Mulder's drinking adult beverages, Scully's smoking smokes, and they're just fighting and bickering with each other. And the whole thing is designed to be funny, and it's one of the funniest episodes. And I absolutely love it.
One of my favorite. Whenever I think of X-Files, I always think of the episode. I believe it's there's one scene, but I believe it's from the episode. There's the vampires. And like they're the delivery boy who like delivers them the pizza and stuff. Anyway, there's one scene where Scully's doing the autopsy, and she's like, I mean, she's sitting there. You only see her face, of course. It's a TV 14 show, but she's like cutting through. She's like, as she's doing the autopsy, she's like opening up the stomach. She's like pepperoni, bread, and then she's like, I could really go for a pizza right now.
That's what solves the mystery. I want no spoilers, but it's so good. The show is it laughs at itself. When it laughs at itself, that's when it's at its best.
Yeah.
Great show. I can't tell you the overarching story. It's convoluted. It's goofy.
It's goofy.
But
it's a lot like Resident Evil, where the less you know, the better it is. And then once you get down into the weeds of what actually happens in Resident Evil, I'm like, wow, this is ridiculously stupid. It's the same thing. But it's fun to have the first couple of seasons, they only put like one puzzle piece down. And you're like, ooh, this could be anything. And then when they show you the full picture, you're like, well, that's really dumb. But whatever, what a ride.
Oh, yeah.
X-Files.
For me, I just finished my first ever watch of Better Call Saul.
Ooh.
I had never watched it. I think I watched it when it originally came out, like maybe the first 2 seasons, and then something happened. I fell off of it. So I finally went back and I finished it. And because of that, I'm like, you know what? I think maybe I should rewatch Breaking Bad. I watched that back. I probably watched it back in 2013 when it ended. That was the last time I've watched it. So I'm watching. I'm like, hey, that guy's in Better Call Saul. I didn't know that guy was in there.
That's cool.
And there's like a lot of things where it's like, wow, there's more connections than I thought, because it's just been so long that I've been disconnected from the universe. I forgot about a lot of people, forgot about a lot of names and stuff. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Look at this. It's like a foreshadowing of people and stuff, even though it's the prequel or whatever. So I'm watching Breaking Bad right now. I think I'm like season 2 somewhere right now. And,
love Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I've forgotten how much I enjoyed my first watch of that.
Wow. For me, I have been on a TV hiatus since House of the Dragon ended, which, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it ended in like October of like 2022 or something.
That sounds right. 2 years, yeah.
So it's been almost 2 years for me, and I have not watched television. When I tell you I have not watched television, I mean no news, no nothing. I don't watch TV at all. And because House of the Dragon's coming back, Poncho Taco in his Discord has been graciously Sunday nights for his subscribers replaying the episodes from season 1. And I don't know if that just like jogged me to want to watch something, but this is such a random question to come through because I started a TV show this week for the first time since 2022. And it is hugely at the recommendation of Poncho Taco. I have finally started my first watch of The Sopranos. Never saw it. And can I just tell you already, Maron, these people are all, it's like my family reunions. It's like, they're all like my uncles.
I think I told you, I've watched that series twice now. And I was like, Ashley, I'm watching your family history right now. I would tell you, like, I come into your stream and you'd be like, hey, how's your night going? I'm like, oh, good. I'm just watching your family history tonight. And you just knew I was talking about The Sopranos.
Well, it's weird because like, I'm not really a big TikTok person, but I kept getting like little like snippets on TikTok of like little episodes, like little like scenes. I was like, besides like the the really bad stuff, I was like, this is literally like I'm watching my own family right now. Like all the words and all the euphemisms and stuff like that.
Minus all the murder.
Right. Yeah. Minus that part. But just like all of
breaking kneecaps and
but like the little Italian words and people calling people stunad and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God. It's like I'm with my aunties and my uncles right now. It's so good. But I'm only on episode 3, but it's good so far. I look forward to all of the craziness that everybody talks about and the craziest ending ever in history of a show, I guess, whatever. But yeah, I just
it's a bold choice of an ending.
Right.
That's what it is, yeah.
I know how it ends. Apparently how it ends, but yeah, that's what I'm watching right now. And my sorry, they said we could say our favorite show. I just want to shout out my favorite TV show of all time. Daria from MTV, the cartoon. Remember Daria? Favorite show of all time. Just a little tidbit.
I know you've talked about it. I've never seen it.
I don't think it's made for us, Poncho Taco. We're the Beavis and Butthead of that universe. Daria is just a student in the background that gets. It's an awesome show. It really is. And like the greatest compliment I can give to The Sopranos, I hate drama. The only drama I could ever do is like historical drama because I'm a history nerd.
Okay.
But if it doesn't have anything to do with historical, like life is too serious enough. Like I cannot do a drama at all. I've watched so much Sopranos. I've seen it a few times, every episode, at least a couple of times. And that's the biggest compliment I can give to a show. Okay. Is like, it's a drama and I've watched it and enjoyed it. So it keeps me interested.
I don't like acted out shows. So it's so far so good.
Did you guys know that after The Sopranos ended, the New York Knicks wanted to get LeBron James on their team? This is real life. And they got the actor that played Tony Soprano to shoot a scene.
James Gandolfini
with the lady that played Carmela. And the scene is out there. You can actually you can find it. Eddie Falco. You can find it on YouTube where it's like he plays Tony Soprano. He's like, "Hey Carmela, it's been great ever since we went into the witness protection program going to New York. How do you think we can get our friend LeBron down here?" And Carmela's like, "We'd have to find him a really nice house. It's going to be expensive, though." He's like, "Money's not an issue." And so you can actually find this thing the Knicks put together that they never thought would see the light of day. And like James Gandolfini would never do that, but he's such a Knicks fan and he wanted LeBron James on the team.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's hilariously bad and adorable. But just throwing that at a little sports on our video game podcast.
Well, I'm jealous of your first watch, definitely, because that was a very, very enjoyable first watch for me. And I actually rewatched it a second time within the same calendar year. Well,
Yeah.
not calendar year, but like fiscal year. I don't know what you
Right. It was in the same
I
12
watched it
months.
within a year of
Yeah.
finishing it. I probably at least restarted it.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah.
They
So
do a
it
great
was
job
good
of,
enough
like,
that I did that.
throwing in humor, and like there's a lot
Yeah.
of hilarious scenes in it.
I swear, my second time watching it, I was like, this is almost a comedy. Like, I'm cracking up way more now that I understand the characters going into season 1 and stuff. Like, I'm watching, I'm like, this show is nearly a comedy. Like, I'm cracking up so much. Like, it's so funny. And like the first time you watch, maybe at least early on, you don't think that way of it exactly because you don't know the characters yet. But like in my second rewatch, I was cracking up way more because I just know their characters, and it was just hilarious.
Yep.
Do you guys do the thing when watching an old show or movie? Like I mentioned already, we watched Big Daddy. Like he was playing Twisted Metal. Anytime you see a video game or an arcade game, do you lock in on that? And like anything that's going on the plot leaves me. I'm like, what game is that? What system is that? Are they playing it on the right system? I'm such a snob where I'm like, that's the wrong controller for that game. I know it is. And like, it just,
yeah,
it cracks me up.
There is the infamous, I don't think you've been there yet, Ashley, but there's the infamous scene in Sopranos where he's playing Mario Kart. And he's with his son. And his son is sitting there playing his Mario Kart 64.
Okay.
His son is, and he's like, let me see you control. And he picks it up and he's playing it one-handed, like he's holding a gun almost. Like, so you can't even push A, and he's like playing it and he's like pushing his son. It's like, there's no way you can, like, any gamer's like, you can't play Mario Kart 64 that way. Like, that's not how you play. But like, it's hilarious to see because it's like, it's just like, as gamers, we're like, no, you can't play that way.
That's the exact scene that came to mind. It's the
That's
64
amazing.
Mario Kart. I'm such a menace. And like if it's an arcade game, they had Karate Champ and Big Daddy as well. I'm like, oh, that's a terrible game, but I digress.
All right. Well, again, our email is email@arcadeparlorcast.com. Send in your notes. We'd love to read them. And it might be featured on the next episode. Email arcadeparlorcast.com. With that said, let's move into a quick roundtable here. If anybody has anything additional we'd like to take this time to talk about, maybe something that didn't get that, something that we missed, or actually we'll do this also. We'll do the roundtable as well as where are we? What are we doing? Where you can find us and stuff like that. So, Ashley, why don't you go ahead and start us then?
Are we doing the ending promo too?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Roundtable and promos.
Thank you. The only thing that I really had on my notes, honestly, was just how excited I was that you beat Grand Pro 3 and that Pop's 1 year episode was a couple months ago. So, and our 2 year episode's coming up in a couple months, which is so exciting. I just can't believe that.
Yeah.
In just a couple of months, it'll have been 2 years that we've been doing this. I told my mom the other day and she was like, "You're kidding me right now." I was like, "No, I'm serious." But as for me, my 4-year stream is coming up at the end of the month. I cannot believe that I've been doing this for 4 years. Never did I think my first stream that I would have ever gone this long, that my channel would get partnered. Like, never had any big dreams like that ever. I just wanted to play my Bell's Quest, get a world record, and play some Mario Maker with my friends. And now it's developed into a beautiful community that has other communities branching off of it. And I'm so thankful for everybody who got me here today. You can find me at twitch.tv /Ashley_FL. Ashley spelled with 2 E's, no Y. I'm streaming Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday nights. Super Mario World Retro. I'm going through Donkey Kong Country 2 on Saturday nights. Also every Sunday afternoon, I'm doing Ocarina of Time randomizers. It's the most fun I've ever had streaming. Cannot even tell you how much fun the Ocarina of Time randos are. To replay your favorite game of all time in a different way every time is insane. You can also go to ashleyfl.com. I put out daily YouTube content. I have a new merch store, and anything Ashley Florida related is there.
Awesome. Pops, what about you? Where can people find you?
They can find me on Cheese Pops. There's an extra P in there. If you're really looking for me, you'll figure it out. I got the pirate hat logo. cheesepops.com, all that stuff. I used to be really good at posting YouTubes and shorts and stuff, but as I said, it's summer. I am in scumbag mode, so I'll stream when I feel like streaming, and it's going to be a party because I absolutely want to be there. I got my birthday coming up in like a month, and I think I'm going to do like a contest. So if you have Mario Maker 2, make me a level that's fun with P-switches and frog suits. I don't know why that became a meme, but like this is no joke. The last 2 levels I made purposely terrible because I don't have the time or patience to make good ones. And all of them have P-switches and frog suits. For some reason, I think that's hilarious. And I found a clip from 2022, January of 2022, where I'm playing a Panga level. It's actually the clear video where I beat Geodude Cruise, still to this day, one of the hardest levels I've ever beaten. And in the clip, I'm sitting there, I'm a lot calmer then, because it's 2022. I've not found my voice yet. So I'm like, yeah, I'm really bad at beating levels or making levels. All I do is, it starts out so promising. Then I throw in a P-switch here, a frog suit there, and then by then the level's trash. And I started cracking up. I'm like, that's exactly what I still do to this day. It's just whatever. But if you can make me a level and share it with me for my birthday stream, that would be fun. I do want to bring up Big Daddy one more time on this roundtable. One more thing I want to talk about. Shout outs to the fine people of Fritos. Because I'm watching Big Daddy and I see a can of Slice with their weird logo. I see Cheetos look all funky because it was the time where everyone changed their logo. Not Fritos. Fritos has had the same logo my entire life. It's that red or that like maroon bag with the gold and it says Fritos corn chips.
Yeah.
That since 1985, Fritos corn chips has stayed the same. And I just want to shout you out, Fritos corn chip, for not giving in to like advertisers saying you need to rebrand. You don't. I know what I'm getting when I buy Fritos. I know how to find it. They did not change. Because watching Big Daddy, everything was a different, like Pizza Hut had a different logo, Taco Bell, McDonald's. Everything was all funky and different from when everyone changed. Not Fritos. I saw that bag in that movie. I'm like, kudos to you. So that's what I took the time to promote in my...
This
Back to you,
podcast's
Poncho
not
Taco.
sponsored by
Yeah.
Fritos.
No, apparently go buy Fritos, endorsed by Cheese Pops.
They
of
didn't
Arcade Parlor.
change. Everyone changed at that era. I'm telling you, every single logo. BK had that blue swirl in there for some reason. I think it's ridiculous, but not Fritos. They're like, no, stay the course. Stay the course.
All right. As for me, you can always find me twitch.tv/Poncho Taco. Still playing SMW. I think we're gonna be playing some more Souls. I think I'm gonna invest more time in Souls games. Those are fun. And they're to an extent they're kind of an Everest again for me. I'm really enjoying Lies of P far more than I thought I would. I bought Demon Souls. I have a few other ones too. So I think we're gonna be kind of mixing it up a little bit with both of those, with all of those kind of mixed together a bit. So come hang out if you want to watch that. Come hang out anyway. I don't care. It's a good time. I think that's it. I do want to go back. Just a moment here and say, as a reminder, we also do have a voice or a phone number that you can call us at 402-915-1082. You can call. You'll be sent directly to voicemail, and you can leave us a message. It might be played on stream, or it might be played on the podcast, I should say. Or you can also send us a text message to that number. Send us a text message. Same thing. We might feature it on a future episode. With that said, I think we're done here, guys. This has been episode 22. I'm looking forward. I'm going to have a little bit of a vacation coming up at the end of the month here. I'm looking forward to that. A week off from work, week off from Twitch in general. I'm looking forward to that. Getting out to a lake and stuff like that for a little bit of time. So that's the other thing that would be taking a little bit of time off. I'm looking forward to it. I guess with that said, this is episode 22. We will see you guys all in July. We'll see you guys all in July. I don't know the date. I'm not gonna give a date because I don't know the date exactly. We'll just see you in July. Adios, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.